Welcome back to another episode of No Filter Football. We've got man like Beany on here, massive Leeds fan. You'd have seen him on the opinions from offside. We're going to cover a few points. The first one I'm going to cover up with you is transfers, Beany. You mentioned in another part of this about Muniz. Brilliant player. I've got a lot of time for Muniz. I genuinely think that someone like Liverpool, United, sorry, I should have said the other word, but we'll leave it.
Yes,
Arsenal should be looking at players like that. I can understand why Newcastle are looking at him. But then the rumour as it is, I know it's ambitious, but there's talk Jack Grealish could be tempted to go to Leeds. Now, the reason why I can believe that is purely because Grealish's best season, where he looks the best, is when he is the talisman and the pressure's on him. I know it's a lot of money. Would you like a talisman like Grealish, or would you prefer a team ethos and build a bigger squad and a better squad for longevity rather than trying to rely on someone to pull magic and pull things out the hat?
I think there's a lot to be said about having a team. I mean, if you look at last few years, Forest went and broke the rules by bringing 35,000 players in, but they knew they took the hit by bringing in as many as possible and hope that it sticks and they get maybe 6 or 7 good players, sell the rest, and then improve as you go on. Just stay up is the ethos or the mentality. The biggest problem with the teams that normally go down, I know this is second season in a row that the teams that have gone up have gone straight back down. But if you look at the 6 teams, the spine is a bit weak across the board. And I think even like Leicester, their spine was not great. And Ipswich brought a lot of Championship footballers in with a view to next season they'll win league next season. And they're banking on a load of money for the next few years, and then hopefully have a go. Grealish would be an absolute unreal signing, and I don't care what anyone says. If we get an opportunity and we've got the finances to do it, you've got to go and do it. The fact is we've been missing a 10-all last season. We got away with it in the Championship because we had 7 or 8 really good players around a 10, but as 10 really didn't. His output wasn't particularly great. If you're looking at a spine, your 10's included in your spine with your 9. So if you're looking straight through middle, keeper, centre back, centre midfielder, 10, 9. Jack Grealish wins points on his own, and his best position is as a roaming attacking player. In Man City, he got kept getting put on like the left or the right. He's not that type of player. He never has been. And his best season was a couple of years ago for City. But I'd argue that even before that, it was for Villa. But he was their main man. And I don't believe he's not a team player, if I'm honest with you. I believe that he's one of these players that goes under the radar as actually a team player. I think he cares so much. If you look at stuff that he does behind the scenes, he's one of these players that fans love because he does a lot for the community, but he just doesn't parade all the community stuff on his socials because it doesn't matter. And let's be honest, he loves the sesh. And what's not to like?
No comment. No comment. No, completely agree. Completely agree. I think he does do a lot of hard work that he doesn't get the credit for. I completely agree with that. And yeah, I can understand the Muniz signing from Fulham. He's a player. He is a hell of a player. And the fact that nobody else is looking at him. But then I'm going to stick on transfers. I'm going to switch it up for you.
Yep.
Liverpool have bought Wirtz. We've agreed the deal for Kirkes. We're going to sell Kwanzaa. We're going to bring in like another young centre back with potential, apparently. There's talk of Gahey, but from what I've read and looked at, Gahey is a no because he wants guaranteed football. He doesn't want to compete with Konate and Van Dijk. Can understand that. He's at the peak of his career. I can get that. But then the other one that's looking at, once Nunez goes, which is looking more towards Napoli or Atletico, there's talk of going for Isaac. Would you want to play Liverpool with Isaac, Wirtz, Salah, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch? Don't even start. I mean, what are your thoughts on Liverpool's transfer tactic? They've saved money last year, won the league, and they're going big this year. What are your thoughts as a promoted team coming up? Looking at it, thinking, right, you've probably got 100, maybe 120 million to spend, and you've got teams in the Premiership established, spunking that on a player.
look, we can't get away from the fact that the top 2, top 4, top 6 are spending money that we just can't spend. I think the one advantage we'll have if we do stay up next season, and possibly even hopefully the next couple of seasons, is our revenues are big in terms of financial revenues because we're still a draw. We're one of the biggest revenues in the Championship. That's only going to exceed when we get into the Premier League because our sponsorship's going to exceed. We're going to be bigger in the States because we're owned by the 49ers group. I know they've got Rangers, but as far as I'm concerned, Rangers would consider us they would be the second choice in that for me. We're a Premier League club at this point. Rangers are a massive club, but the Scottish League doesn't make the sort of money a Premier League club does make, and it's got nothing to do with history. Not to do with size. It's got to do with scalability. And realistically, unless you're Celtic or Rangers, there's no big clubs in Scotland. Leeds are a big draw in the Premier League and will be on telly a hell of a lot. I know everyone will. But as for Liverpool, look, they have pulled an absolute masterstroke. Last season, didn't spend that much money, if anything. Brought in a
12
manager.
million. Chiesa.
Won the league. And the bench would get in most Premier League clubs, if not all of them. The new Man City were going to come and try and start spending. The new Arsenal needed to spend. The new Newcastle needed to spend. The no Tottenham need to go and spend. The no them lot need to go and spend. They've been able to be a bit more cute in the transfer market because actually that squad, even without Wirtz, even without Kirkes, even without Frimpong, could still go and win the league. Because a lot of the other clubs need major rebuilds. But they've brought Bayer Leverkusen's 2 best players. They've brought in Kirkes, arguably one of Bournemouth's best players. There's rumours that Robertson might leave, but let's be realistic. If you're replacing him with a young, hungry, Premier League proven left back, you can make a bit of money on him. Realistically, you don't have to sell anybody because of the money you make as the revenues Liverpool make are an absolute obscene amount. But look, you're always excited to watch your best players. I watched De Bruyne smash one in top bin and we lost 7-0 at City. It's empty ad. I don't care what anyone says. That ground is half empty half the time. I've heard noise once in my entire time, and that was when somebody sneezed.
I thought Oasis played there. That was the noise I heard.
yeah, that one as well. But look, City, that team, they beat a 7-0, and I genuinely said to my dad next to me, I went, I've not seen a team everything touched gold. Yeah. I've seen it get beat 6-0 at Anfield. I've also seen us win 2-1 at Anfield with an absolute bare bones Jesse Marsh style squad. That was unexpected, and it probably kept a bloke in a job too long. Actually, in hindsight, if he'd have got sacked that weekend, we might have stayed up that year. But we beat Liverpool, and their squad was insane at the time. Yes, it's insane now, and it's even better. We've got to be up. We've got to be up for playing them teams. They're not the battles we need to win. There's a bottom 10 there that we need to. If we win 10 of them games in the bottom 10, whether it's home or away, whether it's a mixture of both, we've got 30 points there. You then need to find 10 points from somewhere. Get your magical 40 points and go from there.
Don't forget 40 points. 38 would have kept you up this year.
I mean, let's be realistic. In most years, them lot would have got relegated because they were shocking. I don't fear majority of that bottom 10.
Well, this is what I want to touch on for you. I know you people that don't know, Beany, you work with Barnsley women's football team. Yeah. And now the WSL have just made a change to their promotion and relegations. Now you've seen that, so that now there's a playoff between a team in the Premier, the WSL, and the Championship team. Would you be about that for the Premiership? The reason I say that is because, as you've said, the last 2 years, 3 that have come up, 3 that have gone down. So is it more of, I'm going to sort of pedal you into an area here, is it more of the teams just need to get better? Right? So I'll give you an example of the way Burnley have gone up this year. Rather than trying to play free-flowing attacking football, Scott Parker's gone, right, we're going to be defensively solid because that is the basics of the next league. Once you've got that, scoring goals, you could literally stay up by set pieces if you can keep the clean sheets. That's option one. Or would you think, this would be a bit more of an excitement? So maybe it's the bottom 5, or maybe even the bottom 4 and one of the teams, say the fourth team, so this year within 17th, would go into the playoffs. So there's 3 championship teams and then 1 premiership team into the playoff. Would you be about that, or would you be more, no, the teams need to get better? What's your thoughts?
If I'm honest here, I think teams need to just get better. I think it's last 2 seasons, the teams that have gone up have gone down. But if you look at the transfer business they've done, they deserve to go down. Let's be really honest. And there was a season a few years back that every team stayed up.
Mm.
Like, it does happen.
You got
And
Brentford recently up. They've done well to stay up. You had
Forest.
Forest.
Well, our
Yeah.
first season we finished 9th. Our second season we stayed up. It was only the mismanagement in that third season that caused us to go down. It had nothing to do with the fact that we didn't have the money or didn't have we bought badly. Victor Orta has a lot to deal with because he brought in a load of bang average American footballers, bang average footballers who had no heart for anything in the Premier League. So I think if you get your scouting right and you get your tactics right and you get your squad built the right way, you can stay up in this division. Because I think the problem if you do a sort of like a playoff is your teams can be set towards a certain league. So in the Championship, it's totally different to the Premier League in terms of you can have an attack flowing team. We got 100 points last season, as did Burnley. I would argue that we did it playing good football. I would argue they did it playing let's not get beat first. We didn't concede that many more than Burnley. We just scored a hell of a lot more than they did. With a better keeper, we'd have brought points. We'd have brought the points. We'd have brought the points record 100%. Like Melia cost us probably 15 points last season from winning positions. But we're geared towards bringing Premier League footballers in now and players that have got the sort of the archetypal Premier League skill sets. And then you bring in 3 or 4 of them, try and stay up, and then after that, you bring 3 or 4 more in, and then you build and build and build. And then by the end of it, your Championship footballers start to become your bench, or they start to go to other clubs. And then you start to do what Forest did. Forest brought in a load of players. Some turned into absolute gold dust. Some were bang average Championship footballers and have now left the club or starting to leave the club. They're now in a cycle now where they're bringing in Premier League proven either Premier League proven footballers or players that have got the skill type to be a Premier League footballer. So there's a bit of both to it. Like, I don't believe in bringing in a playoff. I think if you're the worst 3 teams or the best 3 teams in the leagues, I just think you deserve to get the chance. Some clubs don't want to stay up because the money's that good going down. I think the financial fair play in the Premier League is what it's there. It's meant to make people fair. I also don't think that those going down should get a massive leeway. I think they should get maybe a season, but they get 3.
Yeah.
We can't go and spend stupid money next season because our losses have to be a certain amount this year. We can't go and spend stupid money until like the 1st of July. But this guy's not messing about, and I think you spend what you can earn, and a lot of clubs don't make that much money in the Championship, and then when they come to the Premier League, they still don't make money because the revenues aren't as high. You look at them lot, 15th finish last season.
Them
and
lot.
just gone and spunked £150 million on players like that because of the money they bring in, because they've got fans all over the world. They're a world-renowned club. They're still in the top 5 biggest clubs in the world, as much as it pains me. But Aston Villa are more successful over the last few years than they have in terms of league positions. Can't go and spend money and have to sell to buy. That's because you can only buy. You can only spend what you bring in.
Yeah, which me and Mark have spoken about this before. I think it's geared towards the establishment. It's not a lot more difficult to break in teams like Newcastle. Not so much now they're in the Champions League, but it's like Evanakis, I think it's how you say his name, from Forest. He can't just go and spend his money. So I get what you're saying. I'm going to put 2 things for you, Beany. I'm going to put this 2 quick ones to you. First one is, I don't want any explanation. I just want a yes or no. So based on what you said about no playoff, and you don't think that's fair, the bottom 3 teams should be relegated. Why do we have a playoff in the Championship? Why are the top 3 teams not promoted? Do you agree that we should abolish the playoff in the Championship? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Okay, now I'm going to bring back to the comment you said, right? I'm going to give you 30 seconds to back your case, right? You've mentioned that you think your owner will be leaning towards Leeds because of the draw, the Premiership, than he would Rangers. I'm going to put it to you that with Rangers, not only are they on a par or dare I say, a bigger fan base, don't shake the camera at me, boy, with Rangers. However, also in the Scottish League, Rangers should always be in Europe, which will bring a bigger draw, which is why, potentially, if anything, especially at the start, you would be more likely to be a feeder club to Rangers than vice versa. You got 30 seconds.
20 years ago, yes, maybe. The money's too good in the Premier League to accept that Rangers are ever going to be Leeds' second in command. It's not going to happen. They get in Europe every year, but they end up getting knocked out by some random. I think they got to final a few years ago, but that were under Steven Gerrard. I would argue they bring in bang average Championship footballers half the time. Scott Arfield, yes, he's probably a legend over there for what he did, but he's a prime example of they don't attract big players anymore. The Scottish League doesn't attract big players. And if they're half decent, the Leaf at Premier League, Virgil van Dijk, prime example.
Okay, there you go. Let us know what your thoughts are on man like Beany. Beany, always a pleasure, my son. Always a pleasure. I'll see you in the reef. Cheers, guys.